Okay, we are live, regular 8 o'clock Sunday stream. Let's see who wanders in. Hopefully, some of our usual crowd. February did not last long, as per usual. And I guess if it's March, it's getting closer to spring, which sounds like a dream, but I will be very happy for that. Very, very happy. Hi, Susan. Welcome in. How are you doing? How was your week? Good to see you, or good to talk to you. Thanks for thanks for showing up. I was just talking with it was a good week. Yeah. Are you fully acclimated back from Hawaii now? Hi, Katie. Katie says hello, sunshine. I like that. That's awesome. How are you doing, Katie? How are you feeling this week? How's recovery treating you? Susan said yes, and we had some pretty days here too. Oh, good. Okay, so it's all starting to feel a little more hopeful. It's supposed to be minus 25 here tomorrow, so I am struggling a little. Yeah, Katie says hi, Susan. Yeah, I love how you guys all talk to each other. It's perfect. Susan says hi, Katie. Yeah, I heard once from somebody who was from South Africa, where apparently in South Africa it's like just beautiful weather all the time, and they just every day it's like perfect. And so she said that they don't talk about the weather because every day is the same. So I was like, oh, well, in Canada, we talk about the weather like first thing. And she's like, yeah, I never understood like that small talk until you realize that it changes all the time and there's something to say. So at least we have something to talk to each other about. Katie says, I have a nasty sinus infection. Oh, no, recovering from your surgery of an infection. But winter is back. It is below freezing with a sleet snow mix. Okay, well, that sounds awful. And a sinus infection and winter sounds double awful. I'm so sorry. That's horrible. How are you coping with that, Katie? That's very demoralizing. Yeah, Susan says, hope you feel better soon. Is it like you're getting the antibiotics and stuff, like that kind of infection? That sounds miserable to do both of those things, winter and that at the same time. I'm so sorry. Yeah, hopefully that infection clears right up. Hopefully they give you something to whenever I think about an infection and like bacterial and antibiotics, I'm just like, if I were born before antibiotics, I would have died in like 20 minutes. Like the amount of times that antibiotics have saved my life, I'm just like, I was not built to live in a land before that. Katie's like, yeah, it started antibiotics on Thursday. I love winter, so the wintry mix is making me happy. Okay, it doesn't hurt your nose or give you headaches like all the cold and the snow and everything. That's all I was thinking. Katie says, same, I would have died day one of the Oregon Trail. Yeah, dysentery. 100% I would have died of dysentery. On the Oregon Trail, I don't even think I would have made it to day one. Like, I think if there was a way you could die before you got on it, I would probably have died then. Yeah, and I never really understood, if you played the game, the Oregon Trail game, and then dying of dysentery is like a thing. And I never understood that until I started studying British history with all the kings of England. And it's like so many of them, like, would they die of dysentery? And you're just like, well, that sounds ridiculous. And then you find out what dysentery is, and you're like, yeah, I would die of that as well. Katie says going from 70 to 30 Fahrenheit in less than 24 hours was not pleasant for my face, but the pain is gone now. Oh, yeah. That's awful. It's like going on a plane when you have a sinus infection. Like all this is just horrible. Horrible. That pressure, the pain. Oh, Katie. I'm glad the pain is gone now. Let's focus on that. The pain is gone. Yay. Yay. Um, yeah. So, Katie, how's your recovery going other than an infection, which doesn't sound like it has to do with the surgery, does it? Those things are not connected. Um, yeah, that's my that's my question. Do you guys want to see a new trick I learned though? I can only do this if I have my shoes on because my shoes have orthotic insoles in them. And I showed this to my surgeon on Thursday, and she was like very impressed for the 12-week mark. So I'll see if I can show you. Oh, there we go. Now I can see. Okay. Huh? Look at me. Walking around with my insoles on, not needing a crutch. Isn't that awesome? Susan says, excellent. Thank you, Susan. Katie says, not connected. The Lyme disease has made sinus infections a regular part of my life. You have Lyme disease, Katie? Did I know that? Surgery recovery is going really well. Week 3 was so much better than week 2. Yay! Week 3. By week 4, you're going to be feeling like your old self. Definitely. It is so exciting. Yes. My wound has now fully closed. I've been 100% discharged from wound care and everything. The surgeon was like, it could still split, but you're doing good. And that basically the fact that I can walk at all, even if I can only do it on my feet or on my orthotics, is a big deal. So, Katie says you're a healing rock star. You know what? It's been slow and steady. I'm not going to complain. And it was really like it's such a relief now to be like, okay, well, at least I don't have an open wound anymore. So I can like basically the problem now is the swelling, which they said could take up to a year to resolve. But I'm like, I don't need it to fully resolve. I just need it to resolve enough that I can walk, enough that I can fit my foot in my skate boot, because that's the next goal, is to have the swelling come down enough and build up my strength that I can skate, even if I can't walk completely normally. That's the dream. I don't know. Maybe the surgeon said another month, maybe. If I work on it in physio, I should be able to start skating again. So very exciting. I will keep you all posted. Katie, I'm so sorry that I used to get sinus infections in high school. They are horrible. This pain here is just insanely intense. Like, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. That's horrible. Um, but I'm so glad you're recovering well and taking better care of yourself, I hope. Yeah, how did you guys go with the Olympics? Did you watch anything? I watched all of the ice dancing because it's like roller skating, but on ice. and I didn't even watch the pairs. Like, I just watched the ice dancing because it seems the most, like, accessible. So, like, I'm always watching everything they're doing, being like, "Oh, maybe I could learn that. Maybe I could try that." And as soon as it's, like, triple axels or whatever, I'm like, "No." But, Katie, you went home early when you didn't feel well. That's awesome. You're setting boundaries, limits. You don't have to be at work all the time. That's so cool. That's so good. I'm so happy for you. Yeah, you deserve to go home early when you don't feel well. Absolutely. Um, Katie, how do you find oh, you didn't watch any of the Olympics, yeah. I watched some of it after it was all over. I didn't have much time during to watch it, so I've been catching up. Susan didn't either. Okay, well, you guys had other priorities. That's fair. So what have you been up to? How is how's the food stuff treating you? How's the emotional eating going under stress? Are we still there? Um I I'm still like surprised at how comforting it is to feel bad sometimes. Like just how familiar it is. I made a video about it. But I keep unpacking more from that. Even though I'm not back on, like, I'm not eating sugar really, um or like feeling compulsive about it, but there was definitely like a comfort to it. Like, well, that's why they call it comfort eating. But there was a familiarity to not what I'm eating, but the feeling after I'm done eating. Um, so yeah, how are you guys doing with that? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling more capable of like coping without it, or do you still feel the big tug? I had to explain to somebody because I was watching Taylor Tomlinson's new Netflix special, and she made a joke about pouring, like, throwing something in the trash, like brownies or something, and then pouring water on it so that you won't go into the trash and eat it. And only some of the people laughed. And she's like, if you didn't laugh, congratulations on having had a healthy relationship with food your whole life. And all the people who knew what that feels like were like, we get it. Um, Susan says, I haven't been hungry and I get full fast, not drawn to food like I used to. Yay! Woo! That's awesome, Susan. So that's something to celebrate. That's totally something to like sit there and let yourself feel it, let yourself connect to that you don't turn to food the way you used to, and then decide, like, what are you going to fill that with, because the universe hates a vacuum. So if it's not food, like, what is it going to be? Some people do like meditation, journaling, exercise, stretching, filling it with fun. Yeah. Yeah, so just, but in those moments of stress, like what will calm you down if not the food? But yeah, the fun is amazing. Katie says, I am struggling a bit since surgery. Yeah, that's normal. I did that too. I feel a bit like I have a new body. So there is a level of being uncomfortable, but also wanting to eat the foods the gallbladder prevented me from eating. Okay. Yeah. And your surgery is very specific in that the gallbladder, like, had a massive impact on your diet and on what you could eat and how you felt after you ate. So it is almost like you're learning a new body. Um, like, you do kind of have to adjust to being in a body without a gallbladder. Um, so yeah, how can I support you, Katie? Like, struggling a bit, is it with like discomfort and wanting a limit, or is it with like boredom, or is it just like making up for lost time? Like um the foods you couldn't have before, and now you're like, oh, I've wanted that for a while and I haven't been able to have it, and now I want it. Because that will be a thing after any kind of surgery, that you're going to be like, oh, while that was happening, um like you can't eat anything for a lot of surgeries, so that is normal. Katie says the constant pain did a number on my mental health, so I turned to sweets for comfort. Of course you did. Of course you did. The pain is horrible. Like how people sit there where they're like, oh, I've been in pain for 20 years and I have a nerve disorder or whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, like pain after surgery is awful. Yeah. And sweets are comfort. So you're in good company there, girl. It makes perfect sense. Um, yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying to Susan, is that like, if we don't have something to replace that with, then it's fine as long as it's fine. And then as soon as the stress level hits a certain point, we're going to be like, I'm going back to the thing that makes it better. So, but what I love about that, Katie, is that you're aware of that, that you're like, I was under this amount of incredible stress. It did a number on my mental health, so I turned to sweets for comfort. It's like as much as you chose that and needed it, like the pain got better and you're gonna need it less, right? So yeah, so you're already ahead of me here. Katie says, now that recovery is going well and I've addressed the sinus infection, I hope I'm on the path to a better food relationship. Um, oh, my video helped you be aware. Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I'm going through it too, right? I'm recovering from surgery too. I'm like, oh, what would be nice is sugar. Um, and it's like this is where we need to have grace. When you are under the kind of stress of that pain in surgery recovery, like it's just whatever gets you through, honestly. If you can, like, it just is what it is. Whatever you need to do to get through that without having permanent repercussions, like, taking too much morphine and getting addicted to oxys or something, like you just need to get through it. And once you're through it, that's the metacognition. That's the like thinking about your thinking and deciding, okay, am I still in that much pain? Is it still doing a number on my mental health? Am I ready to release this coping mechanism now that I am out of the stressful situation? And then you can deal with the next stressor like later. You don't have to worry about that right now. It's just getting through the situation that you're in. So yeah, how does that feel, Katie? Anthony's here. Welcome in, Anthony. Anthony says, good evening, Helmi and cool cats. Yes, that's Susan. There you go. Hi, Anthony. How was your week? How was paramedicing in Ontario at the end of February? It sounds a bit grim. It sounds a bit bleak. I think Susan likes cool cats as a greeting. Susan, do you still have 3 cats? Bruce is here. Bruce says I arrived late because I was at a demonstration. I just got home. Really? Where? What kind of demonstration, Ruse? Tell us. Oh yeah, Susan, you just have the dog, right? No? Anthony says always picking up. Yeah, doesn't sound like a good thing. Oh yeah, the papillon. Right. Papillon means butterfly in French, which I think is such a pretty word. And I was telling one of my friends that I was like, oh, in English we say butterfly, In French, we say papillon. And he's like, "Do you know what they say in German?" And I was like, "No." And I was waiting for it to be something like light and pretty. And he goes, "Schmetterling." And that's what butterfly is in German. I just thought that was hilarious. Such a butterfly, papillon, Schmetterling. Like, sounds so harsh. Katie says the girls at work. Yeah, and Susan says because they have such big ears. Yeah, isn't it because their ears are shaped like a butterfly somehow? Katie says the girls at work both approached me to say my clothes were too big. Okay, they encouraged me to try smaller clothing. So I've been wearing stuff from the back of the closet. It has been fun. Wow, Katie. Oh my God. I wish people talked more about the body dysmorphia that comes from losing weight, where you think you look the same and your body seems the same to you, and you pick out the same size clothes and then you go to put it on your body and it's like hanging off you. And it's like your mind holds yourself. See, Anthony says butterfly is farfalla in Italian. Yeah, see, that's another floaty, pretty one. It's like this German word for it. I thought it was pretty harsh. Um, yeah, so the people don't talk very much about how your mental image of your body stays the same, and as you lose weight and you still think you're the same size, and it gets very dicey. Um, Farfalla. Farfalla. Yeah, that's floaty. Um, it gets very dicey where people are like, "Oh, I just need to lose more weight. I need to lose more weight," and then I'll see it in the mirror. And sometimes your brain just like doesn't want to let go, especially if you were the same weight for a long time, like a decade or something, and then you start changing size. Your brain's like, "No, we're the same." And then the clothes are hanging off you, and people come up to you at work being like, "Did you know that your clothes are too big?" And you're like you just can't connect those dots. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, so Katie, so you're having fun with it being with the smaller clothing, or do you find it a little like nerve-wracking and a little disorienting and a little um disconcerting? Okay, Anthony's really on my pronunciation of Italian here. Okay, he says farfalla, not farfalla, farfalla. Am I saying that right? Farfalla. Farfalla. Okay. Okay. Means butterfly in Italian. I love you said it means butterfly in Italian, I think. Like, what if it doesn't? You should look it up. Okay, I got it. Okay, thank you. Um, yeah, so every time I've lost weight, I've like had no concept of how much weight I've lost or how much smaller I am, or like it just doesn't, your brain just wants to hold you in homeostasis in the same place. Okay, Katie says, I am having fun. Good. It is uncomfortable at first, but not stressful or negatively impacting my mental health. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so now you just enjoy it. Buy cute clothes in fun styles and wear what's at the back of your closet that you haven't worn in a while, and try stuff on and make it a party. That's awesome. That says a lot about your nervous system regulation, because a lot of people, including me, when they lose weight, they freak out and they panic and they contract, and then they're like, ah, it's not safe. So that is very, very impressive. Okay, Anthony, how are you doing? What's new with you? Is it just work, work, work? Is there anything new? Do you have any exciting plans for the summer? I was talking to somebody today from India, and they were talking about the winter, and I was like, well, what Canadians do is we keep a list running in the winter of all the things that we want to do in the summer. And then as soon as the weather is nice, we run out and do them. Um, so I'm just asking all the Canadians I know, like, what's on your list of what you're gonna do this summer or what you're gonna prioritize or whatever, because every Canadian I know is like, one day when this winter's over, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna go to festivals. I'm gonna travel. Katie says, I am moving past judging myself or comparing myself to others. I do what makes me happy. Oh my God, Katie, you're on fire. On fire. Yeah. Susan says, excellent to Katie. That's so cool. So you're really able to hold it. That's so good for your nervous system. That means that you're able to make so much more progress, because you're able to take like 2 steps forward, 3 steps forward, 5 steps forward instead of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Like that would be most people in your circumstance, Katie. So that's so awesome. Yay, go team. Um yeah, so what else do we have going on? You can put it in the chat if you want, or if you need support with anything. Um, I've been really just trying to um, get stuff done, recover, like figure out how to walk, uh, figure out when I need one crutch instead of 2 crutches. Katie says, I have had an amazing teacher helping me through the process. Thanks, Katie. David's here. Hi, David. Welcome in. He says, hello, fairy cake. A big hello from Liverpool. Hello. How are you, David? How was your week? How'd it go with your boss? Katie says, I like the placement of the Northern Lights paintings. Yeah. So we have that one there. And then we have that one there. We've all got Northern Lights on our lists for this summer, I think. I just like being reminded of the magic. So thank you, Katie. Anthony says, hopefully traveling to Europe. Ooh, or maybe Mallorca. I need salt water and a nice beach. Barbados, also a possibility. Ooh, Barbados is lovely. What part of Mallorca is, or what part of Europe is Mallorca in? Is that near Spain? Is that the Iberian Peninsula? Susan approves, Anthony. She says, very, very nice. And Anthony, neat. Yeah, Anthony, I agree with Susan. You need time off. Like I agree with you. You need salt water and a nice beach for sure. I feel like Barbados is way closer. I don't remember Barbados being that far away, but maybe I just don't remember the plane ride. Also, I don't know. I feel like Mallorca is like a place British people go on vacation a lot, but I can't picture where it is geographically. It's like Mediterranean somewhere. Yeah, see, I told you. Canadians all have their list of things they're going to do when the weather is nice. That's how we get through the winters. When I was in university, I met this girl. I was friends with this girl from Dubai, and she'd never had a Canadian winter before. And she called me over one day and she's like, I want you to come see the winter jacket that I bought. And it was a jean jacket, a cropped jean jacket with a faux fur lining. And I was like, you don't understand what winter is. So yeah, if you are familiar with these winters, like you need a coping mechanism. And hopefully that coping mechanism is Majorca. Anthony says, did anyone see the planets line up last night? It was too cloudy in Ontario. Will be happening for a week. Susan says too cloudy in Sacramento. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cloudy here now and pretty cloudy last night. Where are we looking uh for where they're lining up? Like you have to find that spot in the sky, right? It's not just gonna be there. Oh, Katie did see it and she said it was pretty cool. It's in the west. Okay. Um in the west at sunset. Okay. I will I think I can see west from where I am. So Katie, what did it look like? Like just a bunch of bright light dots in a row? That's cool. Yeah, hopefully, well, if it's up for a week, then somebody's gonna see it. It's not gonna be cloudy for a week, right? That would be weird. Um, David says it's been a tough week. Never stopped raining here. Ooh, okay. I don't know if that's worse. That might be worse than Canadian winter, David. But hey, I feel great now. Helmi, time is always a good time. Liverpool won again. Your soccer team won again. Yay. Good job. Go team. Um, does that mean, David, that like your whole town was like out celebrating because they won? Anthony says Barbados is a 5-hour plane ride if you're not drinking too heavily. Yeah, because Barbados is very far south. Like it's almost off the coast of South America, Venezuela, I think. So it is like shockingly far, but I'm just gonna Google where Mallorca is because it's bugging me now. I feel like it's Spain. Oh, it's an island off of Spain in the Mediterranean. Okay, so I was right. Yeah. Have you been before, Anthony? Is it fun? I've never been there. I've been to Barbados, but I couldn't handle the humidity very well, the heat and the humidity. I didn't understand like the whole island time thing and why people move so slowly. But then once I got there, I was like, oh yeah, you can't move fast. It's like so humid. You can almost cut through it with a knife. I would probably pick Spain over Barbados, but that's only because I've done it already. What about you guys? Spain or Barbados? Majorca or Barbados? What would you prefer? Anthony, how long would you go for? Like a week, 2 weeks? Gonna need a decent break from your crazy hectic job. David, I'm so sorry about the rain. And that it's been a tough week. I feel like the rain breaks down your mental health the same way that the cold does here. Like I assume it just rains all winter. Does it? That sounds terrible. At least snow is like light and pretty. Um, Katie says, "Well, you can shop at Payless Shoe Source in Barbados." Uh, Anthony says Barbados was great in winter. 2 weeks in Mallorca would be good. 2 weeks. That's amazing. Okay. Yeah, I feel like Europe is too far to go for a week. Feels like it's not enough time for how much travel it is. So yeah, 2 weeks would be good. I used to want to go to the islands off of Greece, um, like Santorini, and Mykonos, I think are the names. And I even had a trip planned once, and we had it planned down to all the details. It was one of those like Kentucky tour things. Anthony says everyone is invited to come along. Yeah, class trip, guys. Class trip to Mallorca. Um, and then she canceled at the last minute, right before we were gonna like buy the tickets and everything. So I had this whole like dream in my mind of going to the Greek islands, but I'm sure the Spanish islands would be spectacular. Susan's laughing at your joke, Anthony, that you're inviting everyone. If you're also buying, then yeah, I think more people would go, but It's a bit of a swing, I think, for most people. Anthony says Helmi group trip. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let's do a let's do a class trip somewhere. And and just de-stress and just chill out. That would be fun. Mhm. Um Yeah, I'm always torn, especially with Europe, of like, do you go and put your feet up somewhere or do you go and see all of the historical sites and all of the culture and whatever? Like it feels too like there I would feel like I was missing something to just be in Spain and like not going and touring all the cathedrals or the Alhambra or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, but also I don't know how well I would do just on a beach for a week. I have to stay in the shade. I don't have the complexion for staying in the sun all day. That's actually a thing I thought about when I wanted to go. There's a roller skating camp vacation thing in Ibiza in Spain. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, I wanted to go. And then I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to skate by the time they go. But then the next question is, how am I going to be in the sun all day? Like, I'll have to be dressed up like a mummy. David says, yes, we were celebrating. Yay. Okay, well, congratulations to Liverpool, David. Yes, it does rain a lot here, unfortunately. Yeah, Vancouver is similar to that climate. Unfortunately, I construct gardens. Oh, you work outside, David? And believe me, it's so difficult this time of year. Do you okay, because being in the rain sucks, but being in the rain and the cold and having to stay out there, I mean, you're just wet all the time. Are you not completely miserable? Do you have some way of staying dry? Have they invented some kind of dry suit? Like, how do you construct gardens in the winter? I would imagine that you just it's a seasonal job and you just don't do it in the winter. Although I guess I'm thinking of Canada where the ground is completely frozen. I guess if it's raining in the UK, the ground is not totally frozen. Okay. I would be so grumpy if I had to be out in the rain, working in the rain. That sounds awful. Guys, don't you agree? Like having to be in the rain for any length of time is horrible and grumpy making, but having to work in the rain, that's like inhuman. Like that's just so mean. Nobody should put anybody else through that. Um, Susan says rain makes me want to crawl into bed. Yeah. And I do, though. Like if it's pouring rain, I'm just like plans canceled. Like sorry, it's precipitating. I will not be attending. Like we'll have to do this virtually. The only thing I will go out in the rain for is like my physio appointment. Katie says I admire those that work outside so I do not have to. Yeah. I mean, working outside is one thing, but working outside in the winter in the rain is horrible. Susan says, "Oh, but when I lived in Guam, we ran outside to play because it was warm rain." Okay, I have been in warm rain before in Barbados where it felt like a shower, like a literal like bath water temperature, and it was lovely. It was absolutely joyful. It's cold rain that I hate. It's cold rain that makes me so miserable and grumpy. Yeah, cold rain is just awful. I actually had a conversation with somebody today, again, first time in Canada for the winter, and they're pointing at a frozen lake and saying, if I fell in the frozen lake, I would be fine. I wouldn't die because I know how to swim. And I was trying to explain how it doesn't matter if you know how to swim. If you fall into ice water, it's so cold that your muscles stop being able to move and your heart starts, pounding and like the air gets sucked out of your lungs. Like if you've ever fallen into like cold, cold, cold water, or especially water with your clothes on. And I was trying to explain like how heavy and cold and hard it is to move. And he's like, yeah, but if I fell in the ice, I would just climb out and then get up and walk away. I'm like, you don't understand how cold it is. You don't understand what it feels like to freeze and to like and I didn't want to be like, you would definitely die. But I also don't want him like thinking that he can just go be a little loosey goosey around a frozen lake and be like, oh, it's not gonna give me any consequences. So yeah, it was a weird conversation to be like, what's your frame of reference for water? And he's from a tropical country and he's just thinking of that. He's just thinking that that's what water is. I'm like, you don't understand what cold water does to the body. Susan says, yep, when it rained, when we moved back to California, we ran outside and screamed. Yeah, because it's cold. Oh my God. That would be quite the culture shock. Yeah. It's crazy. The Atlantic is so cold that none of the fishermen here know how to swim. And I was like, that's crazy. You're out on lobster boats. Like you're up in 10-foot swells on the open ocean. Like, how do you not know how to swim? And they're like, it's so cold that by the time you hit the water and they realize that you fell off and they turn the boat around to come and get you in that 5 minutes, like doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you have a life preserver. Like it's too cold. You're just not gonna make it. So yeah, the difference between warm rain and warm ocean and cold ocean on your body is like a big deal. And that's why here people do tons of surfing, but they're always wearing like dry suits. Um, so David says, believe me, I get to work at 7:30 a.m. I have to sit in the car for 30 minutes just to find some sort of motivation. But hey, when you get out there, it's fantastically miserable, lol. Yeah, Susan says, yikes. I don't understand, David. Why, if it's raining, don't you just get the day off? Like, what could you even do for a garden in the pouring rain? Like, how is it not just muddy then? Like, you should just not have to work. It should just be a weather dependent job, shouldn't it? What am I missing here? I feel like I'm missing something, David. That doesn't, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, Susan is right. That's yikes or yikers. Um, I can't imagine working in the pouring rain or oh my God, that would be horrible. I can't even imagine. This is what a so I told you guys I have fâché froid, right? Which is angry because you're cold, fâché faim, which is angry because you're hungry, and fâché fatigué, which is angry or because you're tired. And I am so fâché froid that I don't even want to ice skate instead of roller skate because of how much colder it is to be in an icy arena. Like, even that to me feels too miserable. So I can't imagine, honestly, like being in cold, pouring rain and having to do something to gardens. What can you even do? Anyway, yeah, so everyone who works indoors is just like, wow, there's another thing to add to my gratitude list, right? There's another thing, you don't realize how much worse it could be. Susan says, what if you are cold, angry, tired, and hungry? Well, then I guess I'd be fâché, faim, fatigué, and fâché, faim, fatigué. What's the other one? Faim, fatigué, and what did I just say? What's the other one? Froid. There we go. Yeah, it would just be all three. Fâché, très misérable. Exactly, Anthony. Like it would just be. I think that if I was ever cold, angry, tired, and hungry, like, I think I would just devolve as a person, and I would just turn into, like, literal, like, Muppet Oscar the Grouch and just, like, transform and just be like, "Don't even talk to me." Like, this is why if I ever had to, like, even just camping in, like, a really cold, rainy, wet, like, I'm so miserable in that time frame that I'm just like, I understand. I understand why people, like, are not meant to live outside. Yeah. Fâché, froid, fatigué et faim. That's what would happen. I guess I would be the triple F then. Triple F. Um, I used to be in a hanger management program. That's how bad it was. That like my hunger would not come on. Like I wouldn't feel hungry until I felt a little something and then I was just irrationally like starving. Like my hunger signals were not subtle. And so I had to be on a hanger management program because I would just be like so angry and then realizing like being like, why am I so mad? And then it took me like half an hour to be like, oh, it's because I'm hungry. Like all of the things I said for the last 30 minutes, I'm very sorry about. I didn't mean any of it. And even now, like when I'm really upset, the first question I ask myself is, am I hungry? Or am I really upset about something? And I'll even just go and have something small and then be like, did that fix it? Because sometimes it does. And then other people are like, oh, I never care. Like if I'm tired, I don't care. If I'm hungry, I don't even notice. And I'm just like, we lead very different lives. David says, well, at the moment, I've been sat on a digger trying to put ground drains in. I suppose you just get used to it. If I had a day off every time it rained here, I would be I would be bankrupt because it rains a lot in the UK. I mean, at least you're on a digger inside the little house on the digger, right? Like you're not out in the actual rain. You're like protected. You're in like a little car on top of that. Oh yeah, Anthony, please tap that like button, folks. Yep, please like the stream. Thank you. Um so the ground is not frozen, Anthony. Like you actually can digger out ground drains. So it's not that cold. It's just how do you stay warm in those little digger things with the little glass thing? Like at least the rain's not on you, but is there heating in there? Is it like a car? Does it have like vents and it kicks off heat? I guess yeah, if you had a day off every time it rained, you'd be bankrupt, but whatever. As long as you're not out in the elements. Like I thought you were like digging them by hand or something in the pouring rain. And I had a very like, 14th century serf type of like concept of what your job was, or like the brutal landowner was like forcing you to dig ditches in the pouring rain and you're like the peasant serf being like, I wish I wasn't a slave to this land. But if you're inside the little thing, I guess that's less worse. um no, not anger management, David. Hanger management. Hanger is when you get so hungry that you get angry. So it wasn't anger management, it was hanger. Hungry anger. That's a portmanteau. Um I must have been a nice angry person. You're so sweet. When I was hungry, I wouldn't even be angry. I would just be so upset. Like I would just be like, I'm like, what is wrong with me emotionally? Like, I'm so upset. And then I'd be like, is it at all possible that I'm hungry? But yeah, not anger management, hanger management. Um, Oh, David, you took it away. I thought you were all safe in there, and now you're saying no, it's a mini digger with no canopy. So you are sitting there in the elements in the pouring rain on top of you. Okay, well, now we need to do an intervention or something. I just want to go and rescue you. I just want to get you out of there, give you some hot cocoa and some dry clothes and a warm fire, and be like, you never have to go out in that again. Talk about impact on your mental health. Can you imagine having to sit in the rain? Like, are you not miserable? Are you not soaked to the bone? Are you not freezing cold? Yeah, Susan says bummer, David. She's not wrong. That's literally a bummer. That's horrible. With no canopy. Oh my god. Okay. We got to do an intervention, guys. Can we just buy you a full-size digger that has the little house in it that you can stay dry in at least? David's like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." You don't realize like how stressed we are for you. We're worried about you, David. That these are not healthy working conditions. Yeah, Susan says, "Can you wear an umbrella hat or make a canopy? Like, what are our options here? How windy is it? If you wore an umbrella hat, would you be carried away or would it be safe? Like, can you how do yeah, like I'm upset now. The idea of just sitting in the rain. I bet you're wearing jeans too and wet jeans sticking to you. Oh my god. Okay. We need to do a fundraiser. How much does a real digger cost? If it's under 50 bucks, I think we could do it. Yeah, I'm picturing like some piglet getting blown away by the blustery breeze if you the canopy. I know in Nova Scotia, when I first moved here, I was like, "Oh, no big deal. It's raining. You just use an umbrella." No, it blows inside out. The wind is coming at you sideways. Like an umbrella is only cute when the rain is coming down and there's no wind. Um, yeah, this is what I'm saying. See, look how great everyone is. Anthony says, let's start a fundraiser for David to buy a larger digger with heater, air, and radio. Yes, this is what I want. I want him out there being or like however diggers work. Obviously, I've never been on one. And I want him to be like warm, dry, and with the radio on to keep him company. That's what I want. Um, Susan says, I'm sure he has waterproof pants and jacket and a nice hat that covers his neck. David, please tell me that you have waterproof everything and that you're in some sort of suit that is keeping you dry. Please, please, David. David says, save me, please. I don't know. I'm really looking. I want to. How much is a regular digger? I don't even think I'm searching the right terms here. How much is a full size digger? Oh no. Oh guys, we have a lot of fundraising to do. They say 100 to 500 grand, which I assume is American dollars. Oh no. That's a lot to fundraise. You should get a mortgage, David, to get you a dry work environment. Just tell me you have a suit. I just want to know that you're at least dry. You're going to get hypothermia. Like, nobody can just stay out there in the pouring rain. Also, it's been pouring rain in England for like, I don't know, a couple thousand years. Do people just go and take a nap or does their economy shut down? Like, how does everyone there cope with the constant rain? I know in Vancouver, like it rains a lot and people get really messed up about it. Like it wears on you. David says, "Yes, my boss is a big bad wolf." Ah, okay, that gets troublesome. Troublesome. David, you have a suit though. Just tell me you have a suit. I didn't think they were that much. Um, do you have a name for your digger, David? I'm gonna put a name in the chat that I think you should name it. Do you think that would you know what I'm talking about? The ones with the big arm and the bucket on the end, and it goes like this? What if its name was Alice Scooper? You're just like scooping like a big sandcastle. Is it could like it's a scoopy thing, right? Alice Scooper. I just think that's funny. Um Okay, well, David, our hearts go with you, is all I'm saying. We're worried about you. We want you to be dry. We want you to be warm. We want you to be, we want you to feel better. Okay, now we're having a naming contest for what we should name David's new digger. Anthony says, name it Good Diggity Digger. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, my vote was Alice Scooper. Anthony's is Good Diggity Digger. Do we have any other digger names that we think that David should consider? David says it's 20 grand for a mini digger. You already have a mini digger. You already have a mini one. We need to get you one that has housing in it, right? And by 20 grand, I assume you mean British pounds. Wade's here. Hi, Wade. Wade made it for the last couple minutes. 3 minutes. Wade, how was your week? How you feeling? How's Kentucky? Everyone say hi to Wade. Wade, we're trying to figure out what to name one of those diggers, like a digging machine that you sit in and it like closet. My vote is Alice Scooper. Anthony's vote is Good Diggity Digger. Do you have any digger name ideas to contribute? Or do you want to vote for one of the ones that are already there? Susan says hi, Wade. Yeah. And so does Katie. Katie and Susan are both saying hi to you. Yeah, Wade, how you doing? Tell us how you're doing quick before I gotta go. Wade says hot diggity dog. Okay, that might be the best one. Hot diggity dog. That's a good one. Sorry you guys hear my cackle on here. When I laugh like without expecting to, I always sound like a witch's cackle. Ah. But yeah, hot diggity dog, that's solid. Good diggity digger, hot diggity dog, Alice Cooper. Yeah. I think hot diggity dog is it's pretty. I love how Wade shows up with like 3 minutes to go, drops the best name we've thought of in the last 10 minutes, and then is just like effortless. I love it when you show up, Wade. David, are these names helpful to you at all? If you could name your digger, would it help you build a better relationship with your work? I'm glad you're not out there with a shovel. That would be even worse. But I'm hoping, David, that you feel supported, that you feel that all of us are thinking about you and the obstacles you have in your work environment, and that you feel that even though we don't have the money to buy you a real digger, we want you to be safe and warm. However that looks. And we want you to have a cool name for your digger so you can be like a team. It's like if you were a knight and you had your horse, right? Your noble steed. Like, this is your noble steed. He needs a name. That's just my opinion. But I name everything. David says Digger Do, aka Screw. I just spit on my computer screen. Scrooby Doo. I wasn't expecting that either. Scrooby Doo. Okay, Digger Do. Okay, so you already have a name. Wade says hello, Susan and Katie. Love it. Okay, I'm glad David already has a name because if he didn't, I would be like, you have to build camaraderie here. You guys have to feel like you're going out into the storm together, that you're a team. I'm all about everyone feeling like they're part of a team. Oh, yeah, don't forget to like the stream, guys, if you didn't already hit the like button. Because I just think, yeah, Susan, go team. I just think that people who feel like they're on a team, it makes everything easier. We're all in this together. You're not alone. You got lots of support. David says, Helmi, don't go. Give us all another 30 minutes. I would. I really would. But I am beat. I've had to be up so early for surgeon appointments. And it's already 9 p.m. here. So I am, yeah, I'm going to have to go. David says, thank you, everyone. Thanks for caring. David, we definitely care. Like, people have registered their sincere concern for your well being. So when you're out there in the rain this week, you think about us, thinking about you, being like, I hope that guy from the internet is okay in Liverpool. I hope his digger do is helping him. I hope he's staying dry somehow. We're thinking about you, David. Okay, I gotta call it a night, folks. I am beat, but thank you so much for coming to our weekly live stream community. And I will see everybody here next week, 8 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I hope that everyone has a great week and feels like they're part of my team because you're all on my team. Okay, bye everybody. Bye, Susan. Bye, Katie. Bye, Wade. Bye, Anthony. Anthony says, good night, folks. Bye.